Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about the Bitcoin bounce back above $60,000. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com if you want to know how I'm navigating these markets as well as other asset classes. So check that out, intothecryptoverse.com. You can find a link to that in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So today, Bitcoin's coming in at a very modest $61,171. And in fact, we did get a bounce here off the 21-day EMA. Yesterday, we said watch for the 20-day SMA and 21-day EMA. We've seen bounces there before. And so don't necessarily think that we have to go back down to these levels. That would sort of be like in my opinion, would be worst case, right? I mean, that would be the worst case scenario if I were to go back down to those levels. So far, Bitcoin is back above 60K. I'd say it's looking pretty good right now, but I want to cover a few different metrics. So what we want to first do is we'll look at the daily RSI and see where we are there. On the daily, if we look at the daily RSI, we're actually still pretty much right around 50 or so. So if you're not familiar with this, we know that if it's above 70, it's overbought. If it's below 30, it's oversold. We're sort of in the middle right now. So there's no clear and obvious direction to say that we need to have a pullback all the way down to these levels. And we could, but there's no reason why that has to happen. You can see on the daily, we still have plenty of room to move up. If you go look at the 3-day, we're still not in overbought conditions. Right? We're still below 70. If you go look at the 5-day, we're still below it. If you go look at the 1 week, we're still below 70. If you go look at the 2 week, we're still below 70. If you go look at the 1 month, we are just above 70. Okay, so what this shows is that on a lot of different time frames here, Bitcoin still does have room to move higher. Okay, it just simply does. And I know there's a lot of people that want to quote unquote buy the dip down here, but there's really no guarantee that happens. So you have to take that into consideration. There's really no guarantee that happens. Is it possible we head down to those levels? It is possible. Of course, anything's possible. But banking on that to happen is probably not the best strategy if you're still wanting to accumulate Bitcoin in preparation for a theoretical move to the upside. Now, we want to take a look at a few other indicators. We want to take a look at the corridor that we followed in the past. Okay, so let's pull that one up. This was one we developed in the summer. Maybe like in April, we developed it somewhere in this area over here. And so far, it did a pretty good job of identifying these bottoms consistently throughout the entire summer. So at least there's some, validation that it sort of works. And then you might say, well, what are the bounds on it today? Remember, the bounds change every single day. What are the bounds on it today? Well, today it says the absolute lowest that Bitcoin could go would be 28,481. I don't think we're headed there, to be completely honest. I think this is just going to keep moving higher, and then eventually we'll come up to it, but much later on. And then the upper bound already says, 109,000 is theoretically possible. Now, I do think the market cycle peak is above 109,000. That's just where this indicator is today. And if you're curious what this looks like over the macro scale, so you can get an idea, you can see that typically when we break up to the top of this red line, it either indicates a local top or a market cycle top. All right, we've seen this happen many, many times. Even during the summer, we sort of came up to this red line. Even a couple times. We also went to it at 42K, back down, and then up to it at around 58K, which more or less signified a local top at the very least. But today, that indicator is already over 100K, so we still have plenty of room to move up from that indicator as well. If we go look at our Bitcoin bull market support band, we can see that Bitcoin got a very nice bounce off the 20-week SMA after that bounce off the 50-week back down here. So we said, all right, bounce off the 50-week. We had a bounce off the 50-week here, a bounce off the 50-week here. Unfortunately, this cycle over here failed to hold the 20-week. This cycle failed to hold the 20-week. Fortunately for us, this cycle held it. Okay, and we speculated that this is a high there's a high probability that we could hold it this cycle, just because we said, all right, we just need 3 to 6 months, right? We need 3 to 6 month lull, and then we should be able to climb higher. And we did hold it. We moved above the bull market support band in August, back down in September, and then we had clear skies ahead. Now, clearly, one of the things we did say is that we are going to come into some resistance at these prior, this prior all-time high, which ended up being a distribution phase. As you guys know, like this ended up being a distribution phase over here. So it makes sense to have some resistance in this area, to have to fight through it, to have to battle through it for a few weeks. I think this makes a lot of sense. It's also certainly possible that whenever we do break above it, we'll have some retest of it before continuing higher as well. But that remains to be seen at this point. For now, we just need to break through it decisively on the weekly time frame. You might say, well, we already do have a new all-time high. That's true, and we speculated all along that 64.8K is not the top of the market cycle. I also don't think 67K is the top of the market cycle, but it makes sense that we are having to spend some time in this area to decisively move above it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Be patient. I think that those that are patient will be ultimately rewarded the most, and lacking patience in crypto is not a recipe for success. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also, we do have the NFTs. We're gonna burn the ones that are not sold by the end of the month, so go pick one of those up if you want. You'll find a link to that in the description below. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, click the bell icon, turn on your notifications, and I will see you next time. Bye.